Welcome to Andy's Garage. I'm Andy Phillips. Today we're going to be doing a product review on interlocking garage floor tiles. So let's go ahead and get started. And these are pretty much the tiles that I'm talking about here. The particular brand that I use, they're called Nitro tiles. You can get them online. But there's other manufacturers that make pretty much the same concept of garage flooring. I'll put the different brands here on the screen right now in case you want to check those out. They're all pretty much around the same price range, give or take a little bit. Basically what they are, they're like a high impact, I think a PVC or some kind of plastic material, but they can handle the weight of vehicles, as you can see here on the bottom, and I'll get a close up. These are very reinforced. They have little openings in there where fluid can get through. If you want to rinse it down, I've actually washed mine out before, just poured water in it and just mopped it through, went right through nicely. But these are pretty much what we're going to be doing. If you want to see how to install them, because I did a separate video on installing them, you can check that out via the link above. But for this particular vehicle, now that they've been in place for a few months, we've had vehicles in and out of here. As you can see, I have some arcade games, slot machines I collect. They're very heavy. Wheeled those in. So you've got a lot of weight on these floors. Things were dragged. Different things. I really put it to the ultimate test, and that's what I wanted to review in this video and give it an overall rating at the end. But right now, just to start, let me show you how these go together. So basically what you have a male and female end. So you have these notches here, and then what you have here is the receiving end here. So as you're putting these in place, you're just going to interlock it like this, drop it down, and then just take either a rubber mallet or your hand and just... And that's it. That thing is on there. And when it's on the ground, as you can see here with mine, there's no seams. It's nice and tight, and it goes on like that. Very simple. You can easily lay a garage floor. This particular garage was almost 600 square feet, and just a couple hours went ahead and laid it down, and everything looked great. Another good thing about these tiles, first of all, they're very impact resistant. And I'm going to show you, we're going to pull the car in here, and you're going to see the weight of the car on there. It doesn't phase it at all. As mentioned before, we moved a lot of stuff in here. They're scratch resistant. As you can see here, there's some fluid that actually dripped out of one of my vehicles, some oil. If you're dealing with concrete or other porous type of flooring, you run the risk of staining it. This stuff here wipes right up, doesn't leave any stain. I'll get a close-up and I'll show you. All I'm going to do is just take just a rag or a paper towel. Wipe it right off like that. As you can see, completely clear, nice and white again, doesn't leave any residue. It's the same with automatic transmission fluid, any kind of vehicle fluids. You don't have to run the risk of staining your floor. And in the event that any of these do break, they're easy to swap out and replace if they crack or break. In the event that you want to clean it out, you can easily fill just a bucket with some warm water, even a little bit of detergent if you wanted to clean up any stains, and you can just throw it right on here like this. And then you can just use a mop, or in this case here I have this kind of slippery type of mop, but you can easily just clean your floor, get up any stains if you want to polish it. We had an event in here, and we went ahead and polished the floor, very easy. I just kind of hosed down the whole floor with some warm water, wiped it down real good, and because of it having those passageways underneath, the water just runs right through, dries out very quick, very easy, and these are slip-resistant floors. As you can see here, even though there's water on it, you still have traction, as opposed to when you're dealing with linoleum or with ceramic. The minute water hits it, I mean, you've got a death trap there. You can easily fall, get seriously injured. These are really nice because even if there is moisture, it's still, you still have traction. You're not going to slip, which is another plus when you're working in the garage. I'm going to go ahead and pull this vehicle in so you can see the impact of the car as it's on the flooring, and you can see the resistance of it. Also has a little bit of like a lip type edge transitioning on, which is pretty cool. Now, one thing about these floors, the downside is you do have a little bit of a clackiness sound to it because of it being that plastic and it has some hollowness underneath. You'll hear it when I come onto the floor, but let's pull it in and we'll take a look at it. And you could hear it a little bit as I was driving in. You could hear a little bit of the crackly noise as it's going over the joints. Nothing major. When you walk on it, and I'll get a close-up of that too, it can be a little noisy. Nothing major. At the end of the day, I'm ecstatic about these things. Way better than I expected. They were easier to put down. They did as they said as far as being stain resistant, as far as being slip resistant, as far as being durable. I mean, I've got the weight of 2 vehicles on it right now. I've had vehicles in and out of here ranging from small cars to SUVs, everything. I'm going to show you some of the arcade games I have, sliding them along the floor, no scratches. Very good stuff. Let's head over here to the games and I'll show you. What we have here is an old vintage arcade game. The legs have been taken off. So what you're dealing with is basically a 250-pound cabinet right on the floor. And I usually take the legs off anyway, because with these older games, the legs will go bad. And what will happen is you'll have roughed up metal cutting into the floor. So even with this kind of flooring, you're still going to scratch it if you've got something sharp. So for right here, though, we're going to slide this, and I'm going to show you how it's pretty much scratch resistant when you're dealing with something like this. So let's go ahead and slide it, and then we'll take a look at the floor. Moving here along the front, we had the game pretty much right here, so we slid it all across here. You can see no damage to the flooring. When you come here onto this white tile here, because that's around where the corner, even though I've removed the actual legs off this thing, you still have the mounts tucked under there. Got a little bit of some damage there, nothing major. But for the most part, for sliding something 250 pounds right on it, right across it, this thing handled it very well. Normally I move these with a hand truck, so I'm not sliding them like this on a regular basis. I just wanted to show it for the video. I've had these games on other kind of flooring over the years, and if I've had to slide them, they've caused major gouging and damage. So these tiles right here handled it excellent. And if you're just putting vehicles on these, you're not going to have any problems at all. Another thing to keep in mind when you're dealing with this type of garage tile flooring is you don't want to be putting jacks or jack stands directly on the tiles, because what will happen is because you have all of those hollow openings underneath, you're going to wind up punching through. So what you want to really do is use plywood or some kind of wood blocking, put it on that, so that way the weight is distributed across that and not going directly on these tiles. So you want to keep that in mind, otherwise you can damage those tiles. All right, well that pretty much wraps up this kind of overview of these garage floor tiles here. As mentioned at the beginning of the video, if you want to see how to install it, you could do so via the link I showed at the beginning. I'll also have a thumbnail at the end that you can click on if you want to go into the preview and check out that video. I hope this video was informative for you. I hope it helped you out. Overall, I would rate these on a scale of 1 to 10, probably a 9.5. I love them personally. The only reason why I wouldn't give them a solid 10 is because for some people, and I've heard from some people I know that have used them, is that kind of clacky sound. They're not a big fan of it. Personally, I don't really care. It doesn't bother me that bad. Outside of that, these things are excellent. Highly recommended if you have a garage that you want to finish the floor, whether you want to use it more of a working garage / show game room like I have here, or if you want to use it as more of just an industrial garage. I would highly recommend it. It looks clean. It makes it look more finished, neater. It can handle the pressure. It's definitely made for a common garage that's being worked in as far as fluids dropping and the stress that goes onto it. So these things not only look good, but they're also made to handle the pressure. So on a scale of 1 to 10, as mentioned, probably a 9.5 is what I would rate these things. As mentioned at the beginning of the video, there's different manufacturers that make these that you can order from. They're all pretty much in the same competitive price range. So that wraps up this video. As always, I appreciate all of your support. Please like this video, subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you next time.